If you're an Oasis fan, 2025 was your year. From finally seeing the band reunite on stage, to the fan reaction around the world, to the sheer number of Oasis reissues that came out this year to bleed our wallets dry in the best way possible, 2025 was an incredible year to be an Oasis fan. So let's recap it all and break it all down. This is your Oasis 2025 year in review. Before we get to any of the big news items of 2025, I have to say that Oasis released a lot of lyric visualizer videos in 2025. Just like the great band they are and the great brand they are, Oasis continued posting new content on YouTube with these visualizers for a lot of their classic songs like Go Let It Out and Supersonic, Stop Crying Your Heart Out, The Hindu Times, Rock and Roll Star, Shaker Maker. Just like good YouTubers, they made sure that Oasis fans were fully engaged and were on the platform all the times with new videos to keep us going before, during, and after the reunion tour began. On February the 13th, Oasis were nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Again, just like in 2024, Oasis were once again included on the short list for possible induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for 2025. But once again, the Gallagher brothers showed very little interest in being inducted, so they didn't make the final cut this year. But maybe the Gallaghers will change their tune one day and might get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, if they even give a shit. On February the 28th, Oasis released the Standing on the Shoulder of Giants 25th anniversary reissue. Of course, the classic fourth Oasis studio album that came out in 2000, celebrating 25 years anniversary this year, and the band celebrated with a new reissue, the first reissue of many that we would get in 2025, including a store exclusive blue and purple marble LP, beginning what would be an extremely expensive but awesome year for Oasis fans around the world. The Oasis reissue train was just starting. On February the 28th, Oasis bass player Andy Bell released his solo album Pinball Wanderer before he confirmed his eventual involvement in the Oasis Live 25 reunion tour later in the year. Andy Bell released his fifth solo studio album. So on top of his work with Ride and his eventual reunion with Oasis, he put out a solo album in 2025 as well. The dude is all about the music, and I love the psychedelic sound on this record and in his solo work, so this was a really cool record for 2025. On March the 13th, the Oasis Live 25 documentary was announced. It was announced that Peaky Blinders director Stephen Knight was going to direct a documentary film based around the Oasis Live 25 reunion tour. The footage that we saw on social media of the tour has been awesome. I know that's probably separate from what we're eventually going to see in this documentary, but I can only really guess how cool this documentary is going to be. And even though we might not, we'll see, fingers crossed, get more Oasis live dates in 2026, at least we're going to get the live album and the documentary, so we're looking forward to those. Before we continue, guys, if you love Oasis, you like what I'm doing here on the channel, make sure to toss me a thumbs up. I'd very much appreciate that. If you like what I'm doing here on the channel and you want to talk more about Oasis and our favorite music, make sure to smash the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. All right, let's get back to it. On April the 25th, Oasis reissued Some Might Say as a 30th anniversary vinyl single. 2025, of course, is the 30th anniversary of What's the Story, Morning Glory. So the reissue campaign began with the Some Might Say 30th anniversary pearl-colored vinyl with Talk Tonight, of course, on the B-side. One of my favorite Oasis tracks to this day. Well, both of them, Some Might Say and Talk Tonight. So this was, again, one of the many reissues that Oasis was going to have us buy in 2025. On April the 12th, the Oasis camp released some really cool Record Store Day exclusives. Oasis took part in Record Store Day just like past years when Noel Gallagher and Liam Gallagher would give us some RSD exclusives. This year, Liam Gallagher released his Acoustic Sessions EP, and the band released an exclusive colored vinyl edition of their greatest hits album, Time Flies. If you lined up for these on Record Store Day and got them, good on ya. On May the 9th, Oasis released their catalog in spatial audio on Apple Music. For all you audiophiles out there, Oasis released their catalog in spatial audio. For the first time, the mixes were done by Grammy Award-winning producer Ryan Hewitt in Nashville, Tennessee. I still haven't listened to the spatial audio versions of it, but you know what? It sounds pretty awesome. You tune in, you drop out, you listen to some Oasis, and you go spatial, man. On June the 13th, Oasis released the official official vinyl reissue of their greatest hits album, Time Flies, just in time for the Live 25 reunion tour. It's actually one of their most successful releases on streaming and on the album charts. It was a great time and a great way for everybody to get primed for the Oasis Live 25 reunion tour. On June 18th, Oasis opened the first of their Live 25 pop-up shops across the UK. That's right, the first Oasis pop-up shops opened up in the UK and all their tour stops ahead of the start of the tour. And you know what? Like, I went to the one in Toronto. The pop-up shops were awesome. It was like a great way to have like a mecca of awesome Oasis merchandise. I said in my video at the time that it was so cool to be able to walk into a store of all Oasis stuff. It was kind of like a dream come true for me. I got this shirt among many other pieces of merchandise, and these pop-up shops were a way for the band to just bleed our wallets dry in the best way possible. Like I said, I went to the Toronto pop-up shop, tried not to look at my bank account while I was doing it, and you know what? It was totally worth it. And speaking of merchandise, on June the 19th, Oasis announced their collaboration with Adidas, one of the highlights of all the merch that they released during the Live 25 reunion tour. The Oasis times Adidas merch drop was the most highly sought after merch drop by Oasis fans. You know what? It was so cool to see at the Toronto show, to see so many fans decked out in their Oasis and Adidas reunion gear. And some of it was hard to find, but if you got it, you ended up looking really good at the show. And that was one of the real highlights of the merch stuff that they released in 2025. On June the 20th, Cast was confirmed to be one of the openers for the UK leg of the Live 25 tour. Of course, Richard Ashcroft was also confirmed, putting together a solid lineup of Brit rock favorites for the Oasis reunion shows. On July the 3rd, Oasis launched their Map Experience website online, a website where fans could get history of the band's stops in the various cities of the Live 25 reunion tour, as well as interactive experiences, and overall just a great way to get fans even more hyped for the tour. And this is the big one. On July the 4th, 2025, Oasis kicked off the first of two shows of the Live 25 reunion tour in Cardiff, Wales. After all the anticipation, all the money we spent on tickets over the last year, like ahead of time, we bought the tickets like a year in advance. It finally happened, beginning what would become an amazing run of shows. We just didn't really know how amazing it was going to be when they kicked it all off. They released a live version of Slide Away that was amazing from the Cardiff shows, and so began one of the greatest rock and roll tours of all time. On July the 11th, Oasis played the first of 5 nights at Heaton Park in Manchester, their hometown, where the legend began all those years ago. I'm sure it was a very emotional experience for all their hometown fans, and a continuation of the love fest that was the Live 25 tour. The band released a live version of Cigarettes and Alcohol on streaming as well from the Manchester shows. On July 21st, longtime Oasis photographer Jill Furmanowski released a book of her photographs called Oasis Trying to Find a Way Out of Nowhere. Jill took some of the most iconic pictures of the Gallagher brothers and the band as well over the years, so this book was super cool. On July the 25th, Oasis played the first of 5 shows at Wembley Stadium in London. They would later return to Wembley Stadium in September for 2 more shows, but from all accounts of this entire tour, the shows in Manchester and London were among the best shows of the tour, and the band released a live version of Little by Little on streaming services to commemorate these epic concerts. On August the 8th, the band played the first of 3 shows at Murrayfield Stadium in Edinburgh and released a live version of Bring It On Down on streaming. On August the 16th, the band capped off the UK and Ireland dates of the tour by playing the first of 2 shows at Croke Park in Dublin, Ireland, capping off the first leg of the Live 25 tour. They released a live version of Wonderwall as the last of the streaming singles, so I guess we're going to have to hear the rest on the live album that comes out in 2026. But you know what? Soon the band would continue onto North America, and that's where my journey with Oasis in 2025 would begin. On August the 24th, Oasis played the first of 2 nights at the new Rogers Stadium venue in Toronto. I went to night 1, and I have to say that it was an emotional experience. is an understatement. Like the feeling of being there with my fellow Oasis fans, singing our hearts out, watching our favorite band in flesh on stage was absolutely incredible. Singing Live Forever in the rain as the drops came down. It was an emotional experience. It was absolutely amazing. As an Oasis fan for 30 years, it was an incredible experience. One of the best nights of my life. I got all this merch. I can't imagine that it all happened. It feels like a dream. It was that crazy. So glad to see Oasis live again, and those shows in Toronto were epic. On August the 28th, Oasis played one show at Soldier Field in Chicago, and the response the band got on their North American shows proves just how much Canadian and American fans have always loved the band. On August the 31st, Oasis played the first of two nights at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, bringing the love to the New York and New Jersey Oasis fans. On August the 22nd, Oasis released their complete albums box set on CD and LP, from Definitely Maybe all the way up to Dig Out Your Soul, and including the Master Plan in there as well. For fans that didn't own their albums already on CD or vinyl, this was a great way for old fans and for new fans to get all of their albums in one place for a pretty decent price. On September the 6th, Oasis played the first of two shows at the Rose Bowl in Los Angeles. This one was filled with other rock legends backstage like Paul McCartney and Dave Grohl. This was the last of the United States shows before Oasis continued on to Mexico City, where they played the first of two shows at Estadio GNP Seguro on September the 12th, the last two shows of the North American leg of the tour. On September the 27th, Oasis returned to London in the UK for two more shows at Wembley Stadium before heading out on the next leg of the tour. This was the last chance for the Oasis fans in the UK to show the band the love and rock the fuck out. Liam Gallagher also gave fans some hope. I don't know if it's really false hope that the band would return in 2026 after declaring on stage, "Champagne Supernova, see you next year." Will we see Oasis again in 2026 or 2027? We'll have to see what happens. On October the 3rd, Oasis released the 30th anniversary edition of their classic sophomore record, What's the Story, Morning Glory, on CD and LP, featuring new artwork by Brian Cannon at Microdot and 5 new unplugged versions of Morning Glory classics. I picked up both the CD and the LP, and I reviewed both of them here on the channel. That video is up now if you want to check it out. Also on October the 3rd, Paul Bonehead Arthurs, the rhythm guitarist for Oasis, revealed on social media that he was battling prostate cancer. He'd been diagnosed earlier in the year and had to temporarily leave the Oasis reunion tour to continue his treatment. He missed the Asian and Australian dates of the tour before rejoining the band in South America. And I have to say that it's been amazing to see Bonehead on stage with the band again. I know it's great to see Noel and Liam back together, and Gem and Andy and the whole band back together, but to see Bonehead back on stage with Oasis has been amazing. Bringing his trademark wall of sound with his Epiphone Riviera and his bar chords, just bringing that huge wall of sound for Oasis. And then one of the other highlights of the tour has been his social media posts. Before every Oasis show, him and Gem and Andy have been posting their Three Amigos pictures on social media, and I thought that was just amazing. One of the definite highlights of the tour. We love you, Bonehead, and we hope that everything gets even better for you in 2026. On October the 21st, Oasis played one show at Goyang Stadium in Seoul, South Korea, before continuing on to Tokyo with two shows that began on October the 25th at the Tokyo Dome in Tokyo, Japan. On October the 30th, Oasis, Gibson, and Epiphone announced a new line of Oasis replica guitars, including some really nice ones, including Noel's custom Gibson Les Paul that he used for the Live 25 reunion tour, Bonehead's Epiphone Riviera, and Gem's Epiphone Master-Built Sheraton, giving Oasis fans their chance to create their own Oasis wall of sound. On October the 31st, Oasis arrived in Australia and played the first of 3 shows at Marvel Stadium in Melbourne, which is actually Marvel Stadium, as in the comic book company and movie studio. Oasis and Marvel, that's pretty cool. We should see more of that. And then on November the 7th, Oasis arrived in Sydney, Australia for the first of 2 shows at Accor Stadium. On November the 15th, Oasis arrived in Argentina for the first of 2 shows at River Plate Stadium in Buenos Aires. On November the 19th, Oasis played 1 show at Estadio Nacional in Santiago, Chile. And then on November the 22nd, the band wrapped up the Live 25 reunion tour with 1 of 2 shows at Estadio Morum BIA NIS in Sao Paulo, Brazil, capping off an incredibly emotional tour around the world. The Gallagher brothers reunited hand in hand and with their bandmates rocked stages across the globe. It was incredible that it happened, and it was an incredible experience for fans around the world. On November the 14th, Oasis released the 25th anniversary reissue edition of their classic 2000s live album, Familiar to Millions, recorded at Wembley Stadium in London back in July of 2000. I have never owned the album on vinyl, so I was already hyped up for this release. I reviewed it here on the channel, and it was another great Oasis reissue in 2025 to spend all our money on. On December the 12th, Oasis released the Definitely Maybe and Morning Glories single box sets in the style of the band's cigarette CD singles boxes from the 1990s. A great way to collect the singles on vinyl and to celebrate the 30th anniversaries of both classic albums. For a year full of reissues, these ones were pretty cool. And finally, Oasis capped off what was an incredible year in 2025 by announcing some more merchandise stuff with some more pop-up shops, the final pop-up shops in the UK, as one last chance for the fans to get some exclusive tour merchandise, probably make some decent money while doing it. If you missed out on any of the merch this year, this is a great way to catch up on everything Oasis and buy everybody in your life some Oasis gifts for Christmas. So if you live in the UK, make sure to get out to those pop-up shops very soon. And that is it, guys. That is the 2025 Oasis year in review. It was a very busy year for Oasis and for Oasis fans as we went to the Live 25 reunion tour. We went to the pop-up shops. We bought all of our merchandise and just enjoyed having Oasis back and at the forefront of the music scene in 2025. It's been an incredible year, but now it's your turn. Hop into the comments below. What were your Oasis highlights of 2025? I know this is a long video. There's a lot to talk about, but hop in the comments below. Let me know what your favorite Oasis moments were of 2025. Did you buy merch? Did you pick up some tour exclusive vinyl? Whatever you got, make sure to let me know in the comments. Make sure to like this video. Toss me a thumbs up if you like this video. If you like what I'm doing here on the channel, make sure to smash the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. And again, we're reaching the end of 2025, so I'm doing all these year-end videos. We did the Brit Rock year in review. We did the Oasis year in review. And then coming up over the next couple of weeks on the channel, I'm going to do my best rock tracks of 2025 and my best rock albums of 2025. So keep your eyes peeled for those videos here on the channel. But until then, I'll see you guys again for another video here. For now, rock on, everybody.